happy to bring on now Dorinda White, president of the DC Federation of Democratic Women, and the Honorable Donna Edwards, former Congresswoman from the state of Maryland. Welcome to the show, ladies.
Thank you.
Okay, good, wonderful. So I see big smiles. Does that mean that we are happy or satisfied with the choice that Joe Biden made earlier this week? Don, I'll start with you.
Well, I think so. I mean, I think it was both a very smart political choice, strategic choice, but I think it also gave voice to the Black women who revived and carried Joe Biden to the Democratic Party nomination. We remember that, of course, it was Black voters and particularly Black women voters in South Carolina that really gave his campaign a lift and, in fact, got it started and to the point that it is. And I think that in this election, Joe Biden is acknowledging the power of Black women that we know as voters, as leaders in communities. And so it's a really good day, but it's a good day for all women, and it's a good day for America because it really demonstrates that we have the ability to build a multiracial coalition that gets the job done in November.
And that coalition actually exists there with the DC Federation of Democratic Women. Dorinda, talk about or tell us, what were you all actually involved in trying to push the Biden to select a woman? What's been, and I know after what happened with Hillary Clinton last term, I know that hopes were raised and then they fell. What's been the movement with the Federation?
Well, the DC Federation, as you know, is a part of a national federation, the National Federation of Democratic Women. And one of our most prominent members is the chair of the DNC Black Caucus. She was working on the inside out all the time, making certain that all the powers that be at the DNC knew that we needed to have a Black woman as a vice presidential candidate. So we've been working behind the scenes for quite some time through our 3 seats on the DNC.
So what happens now? We've kind of checked that box, at least as far as the nominee is concerned. The convention is next week. How are people organizing now around the ticket? And either one of you, Donna or
well, I mean, I do think, in my other life apart from media, I'm involved with a lot of organizations around the country, non-profit organizations that are making sure that people are registered to vote, that they know how they can vote, that are trying to work to protect the vote. And I think this selection of Kamala Harris adds a level of energy to the Biden campaign that is going to be really important going forward. You can already see that energy in terms of the fundraising numbers that Kamala Harris's election has generated for the campaign. I think they had a 24-day fundraising report of over $25 million from small donors. And I know as a candidate, when somebody gives you $1 or $5, they are in for a pound. And so I think that's a lot of strong grassroots energy that we have to mobilize and organize in order to get the job done.
And Dorinda, I mean, there was a question that was just raised. So in your response, maybe you can even respond to that question from Sharon Joy, who was asking how would the Federation actually encourage younger voters? I mean, still many of them seem disconnected, but how would you get younger voters, particularly young women, engaged now that we have a candidate that we think, they may be inspired by?
Well, what we're doing is we're hitting them where on a technology that they use the most, their cell phones. So we are launching, and we have launched a text messaging campaign where we can interact with them and engage with them, inform them of places they can go to get involved. And also we can go back and forth and find out what's going on in your area, share it with us, and tell us how we can help you to get out there to vote. We're also encouraging all of the young people to reach one and tell one. So we're encouraging them to educate each other as we move forward. Everyone is excited about our new vice presidential nominee. However, I think that we have to all gather around and coalesce in major groups and make certain that as we come together, we educate, bring up the younger people and let them know how important this is. But equally important is making certain that we engage the elderly people who are now seeing the prize at the end of the tunnel. So we need to make certain that they can get out there and be a part of this conversation.
I'm wondering because, when we see people that look like us in positions, we think that they're going to do something special for us. But sometimes we don't often ask, what would be the agenda items that you think women, but particularly Black women, might be putting on the the presidential nominee's plate now that he has a Black woman as his running mate? Are there any particular agenda items that you think need to be raised to the level so that when we get to that convention next week, we hear these items spoken about?
Well, look, I think that when Joe Biden began his campaign, he actually launched his campaign with a message of unity, but also with those very visual images coming out of Charlottesville. And I think, of the young people, young white men marching in their white shirts and khaki pants with, tiki lights. And I think that he began with a message that says we're going to focus on race and the racial division that's been sown by the president and his administration. I think if you look at his agenda, that he's begun to incorporate some of the things that were championed by Kamala Harris during the course of the presidential primary related to health and services and education. And the reality is that, we vote for president of the United States. The vice president augments that. But I think that you're going to see a way of communicating from this campaign that demonstrates that there really is an agenda that's about strengthening and building communities that have been left out for so long.
About you, Dorinda, what does the Federation have a list of issues? How do you communicate what you're doing to the candidates?
Well, our issues really blend in with the issues that are taking place across America now. Economic empowerment, making certain that women have a pipeline to positions of leadership. So, because the mission of our organization is to advocate and to engage and empower women to run for office or to get engaged in the political process. So we're hoping that with a Black vice presidential nominee, that it will stir up an interest around the country for more Black women to step up to the plate, as they've always done. But now they can see the finish line much clearer than they have before. So we're going to really push to make certain that we identify, engage, especially younger women, and help to pass the torch so that as things move forward, we can have more Kamala Harrises coming into the fray.
Donna, you were a first. You're the first Black woman to sit in Congress representing the state of Maryland. Did that, when you won, I know you've had the credentials, you had the background, you had everything, that a candidate, that a voter would want in a candidate. That's why you won. But as a woman, was there any different? I mean, tell me what it was like. Tell me if you had, you faced sexism. What was that experience like for you?
Well, it was all of the things that even Kamala Harris is facing just, 36, 48 hours after the announcement. It's the attacks on her as a woman, as a Black woman. I mean, I can remember people writing things about the shoes that I wore and the clothes that I wore and my big necklaces. And so, I mean, I really think that, women across the board, when they're running for elective office, they face these challenges. There are added challenges as a Black woman. But you know what? You have to do what Kamala Harris has done and just sort of put that stuff in the rear view mirror and continue to put forward your qualifications and credentials. There is no question for me that Kamala Harris is qualified not just to be the vice president as she is nominated, but if need be, she can be the president of the United States. And I think that we have to, sometimes as candidates, set that stuff aside and just continue to move forward, because it's going to be out there. And then we need allies who are out there, like the Democratic Federation of Women, like other women's organizations and male allies who come and like stomp that stuff when it comes out. And so I think that we have to be prepared for what's coming for Kamala Harris, because indeed it's already happened. And we need to be prepared to be out there defending it. And those of us who are in the media need to stop some of those questions before they're even asked.
And Dorinda, what kind of supports does the Federation provide actually for women who are interested in running for political office? I mean, the numbers are growing.
Well,
this has been a good
yes.
time for women. So what are you all doing to support them?
Well, we are right now, during this whole election cycle, we are now focusing more so on voter suppression and making certain we get phone banking, postcarding, everything done. But we do plan to have some more training sessions to basically engage women and engage them in walking the pathway towards running for office. Many people have the idea that I think I can make a difference, I want to contribute, but they need mentors. They need people to guide within we are slowly trying in the
we were kind of lost the connection.
to get
There you go. All right, we're going to wrap up now. Donna, thank you so much, and we're going to have you back. Hopefully, if you have some time to spend with us, so that we can talk about issues as they arise, and then after, going up to November 3rd, because there's a lot of work to be done right now to make sure that we get folks out there to vote. And Dorinda, I want to thank you so much for being with us, and we'll follow up with you as well. You ladies have a great day.
Thank you.
All righty.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.